Hi, Doc Joanna.
Hi, Bianca. So good to see you again.
Thank you for saying yes to this. For everyone watching, Doc Joanna was actually a practicing psychologist sa US for over a decade, no?
Yeah, 12 years.
12 years until she decided to come home kasi gusto niya syempre mas dito makatulong. What is your advice, Doc, on how we can all thrive during this time?
I think, first of all, it's to normalize stress and anxiety. It's a normal reaction to an abnormal situation. So, we don't have to push it away. We don't have to punish or blame ourselves or get angry at ourselves for feeling this way.
That's so important kasi prior to this, when we say, ay, stress na stressed ako, it's negative kaagad. Or when somebody shares na I'm feeling anxious, merong shame ng konti.
Yes.
So, it's very enlightening na you want to push nga to normalize stress and anxiety. I guess it's a normal human emotion.
Definitely. I mean, stress is just a part of life. If we don't experience stress, we don't grow, we don't develop. Life will always involve some amount of stress. Of course, what we're experiencing now is a lot more than what we usually experience. And also, parang see this in the reality of we're all walking this road together.
Kasi diba sinasabi nila now, if we get through this alive, if we survive, that's a win already.
Yes.
But of course, for a lot of us who work, we want to at least try to thrive. How do we go about this, though?
The key idea behind Thrive is we're doing something more than surviving. So it's not just about surviving. It's not just about running a sprint. It's really about preparing ourselves and kind of a marathon. The openness to transformation. So we're not just reacting to the pandemic, but we're kind of looking for an angle where how can I grow in this situation? How can I flourish in the midst of this?
I met Doc actually through an interview a while back, and I was so stunned and enlightened by something that you call the 5 Ps.
I coined the 5 Ps maybe on the second or third day of the ECQ. I felt like it's important to convey to people that how we go through this is a matter of skill. And so the 5 Ps, it summarizes the skills that we can cultivate during these challenging, difficult times so that we can thrive through the turbulence. So it's all based on the idea that what we practice grows stronger. And that's how the brain works. So if we practice a particular mindset, like a growth mindset versus a negativity mindset, that's the neural circuitry that grows in our brain is that kind of mindset. There's really strong science behind it.
Galing! I like that you said that it's a skill. Kasi it's not parang something you turn on. Kumbaga, ang asawa ko atleta, I see him train every day. So, kunyari, he trains for a 3-point shot. Ganyan. So, mind works similarly. Pwede siyang i-work out, parang ganon.
That's an excellent metaphor. I love that metaphor. Don't show up to life taking the chance of a healthy mindset showing up for you. So you want to train it so that when difficulties arise, you're more likely to make that 3-point shot.
Ang ganda. I love that. Aligned talaga tayo, Doc. Okay, so the 5 Ps, go ahead.
So the first one is perspective. It's about taking control of our mindset so that we're not giving into the autopilot mode of our mind. When we let the autopilot mode just take over, more often than not, the human brain goes to negativity bias. Our brains tend to be a Velcro for things that don't go well kasi that's our safety mechanism.
Default ng human mind na isipin ang negative?
It's a bias that our brain has kasi may evolutionary function siya. Our brains are meant to perceive threat so that we can protect ourselves.
Right.
So meron siyang function kasi we want to be safe.
Right.
So in terms of the pandemic, we want to be safe from getting sick from the virus. So we need to think about how to do that. But sometimes it takes over in a way that takes us below the line of our optimal functioning. So we need to take care of cultivating a healthy, positive mindset. I'm not selling toxic positivity, but just taking the freedom to shape our internal reality. What are the opportunities that still exist for us to live a happy and meaningful life in the midst of this?
Ano yung difference, Doc, ng toxic positivity sa healthy positive perspective?
A healthy perspective involves self-compassion, which means we recognize how we feel. We don't push away our feelings. We don't blame ourselves when we find that we're feeling angry or frustrated. Feelings just come and go. So, we don't have to dismiss them. We don't have to cling to them, but we can honor them. Hold them with tenderness and kindness instead of pushing them away.
You said kanina that we can sort of train ourselves with these
Yeah.
skills. So pati perspective
Yeah.
is a skill that you can practice.
Absolutely. I'll give you now an example. I was talking to someone yesterday who's parang overwhelmed with guilt kasi she can't be as productive as she used to be at work. She feels like her team members are suffering because of that. But when she opened up to her team members, they were so kind and loving and understanding of her situation. Our perspective shift was, can we shift guilt to gratitude? So that's the perspective shift. And she's practicing, so I'm urging her to practice it daily, like to think about things she's grateful for.
And I'm sure a lot of people can relate to the guilt na siguro
Yeah.
i-shift natin to
Yeah.
gratitude. I love that example. Okay, so the second P is?
The second P is presence. I wanted to convey the importance of turning on our connection system instead of withdrawing or isolating ourselves, bridging the divide that physical distancing brings by being more intentional in connecting with others. Because when we turn on our connection system, it helps our nervous system function in a healthier way. We're social beings kasi. So we feel safe and we become more resilient when we're connected to others. Being intentional in nurturing others and deeply connecting with others. Like it's a time to really listen, be present to people, family members, friends, co-workers. If it's not safe for us to do the things we used to do in terms of gathering with people, going to events or parties, we know we can't do that for our safety and we can't override that safety need. But thankfully now, possibility for virtually connecting with each other. We've never met in person, but from the interview, I feel so connected with you.
I know, same. Yes, for those who might not have known, everyone else I've interviewed for this quarantine series na psychologist, I've personally met. And Doc Joanna is actually the first na hindi. But you're right, even virtually, you could feel connection with people.
Right. And so we want to structure and really be intentional about those opportunities for connection. Just within the family, the people we're living with, how do we sink into moments of conversation where we're listening more than we did before? Because before, I think we were also living our life in a breathless kind of way, and that gives us less presence to the people we love. It's a good place to start.
Yes.
The third P is purpose. There's a lot of research on the science of well-being that shows how important it is to link with our purpose or connect with our purpose. There's a lot going on right now that gives us a sense of loss and that gives us a sense of, our own mortality also. We feel so vulnerable with the dying that's happening around us, that the losses of financial opportunities, jobs. And yet, it's also a time to dare to look within. What is it really that matters to me in life? How important is this external kind of security? Maybe there was something that I was holding on to before that in light of this isn't as important anymore. And sometimes it can liberate us. We can let go of things that are more superficial to our true happiness.
And purpose, Doc, I guess it's a big word, especially for the Gen Z, the millennials who are still on that path of searching for their purpose. Is that search for the purpose the same as cultivating the skill of purpose?
Yeah, I think the discovery is very much a part of it because we want to approach purpose with a sense of curiosity and openness. But at the same time, purpose takes commitment. We don't know what fits us or what works for us unless we commit to it. We need to show up for whatever it is that we value or whatever it is that's important to us, whether it feels good or not. Purpose isn't tied up with feeling good about it.
I asked that question because I feel that this piece still applies to those who feel like they're in the process of finding their purpose. So keep trying to find it, and as Doc said, keep showing up kasi that's how it will just reveal itself to you, Doc?
Yeah. The fourth P is participate. So it's about being part of a collective endeavor, which is also, a lot of research tells us that it's very healthy for us to act in a compassionate way. The Dalai Lama said, if you want others to be happy, you practice compassion. But if you want to be happy, you also practice compassion. When we go out of ourselves to help and assist others, we open our hearts in doing that. It makes us happier people. It also builds our neural circuitries for well-being and resilience. Be part of something bigger than yourself.
And now that we're not physically seeing each other, I would say and maybe recommend that social media is a great place. So practice compassion now because it's so easy to not. It's so easy to judge and dismiss others based on what we see sa social media.
Right.
Little everyday practice of compassion go a long way.
That's great. And it's great that you mentioned social media. I think that is a very good arena for cultivating a compassionate culture, just like you're doing.
Ay, ako, salamat, Doc. Does it work both ways, Doc? For example, I see a negative comment on social media and instead of fighting back, I either don't engage or reply with compassion. Does it work the other way, meaning the more I judge and post negative things on social media, yun din ang skill na nako-cultivate?
Absolutely. So you're reinforcing that mindset in yourself and in others. All our actions have ripple effects.
Yes.
Right? I mean, this virus had such an immense ripple effect. It's so minuscule, but it has ripple effects. And our actions are like that. Sometimes it feels like it's small. It feels like it's just this one comment, maybe that's toxic and cruel, but it has ripple effect. We really need to take the responsibility to create a compassionate culture in social media.
Yeah, and that's a reminder, and I think siguro panakot. Panakot ba is the word for everyone, that the more we post negative things or judge others, the more na baka yun ang maging default natin. Negative, judge.
You know, we might think that we're just dumping it on others, but really we're creating a polluted environment for ourselves and our loved ones as well. It's like we're throwing garbage in our own home because it's our home.
Yeah.
You know, the relationships and the culture we create in social media, it's our home.
Okay, and last P of the 5 Ps.
The last P is possibility. So it's like exercising creativity, vision, imagination. It's moving away from catastrophic thinking and the tunnel vision. Because if we're always operating from the basis of fear, it kind of creates a tunnel vision. Because what it will do is it will narrow our possibilities. It will narrow our options. But we might lose out on seeing the whole picture, that there's actually maybe there are things that we can, be creative about. Like, okay, I cannot operate this business, but is there something I can do at home? Or is there something different that I can offer that would allow me to flourish at this time?
And possibility naman, Doc, that does not apply to just work-related concerns. That applies to life in general.
Definitely. Not giving up our dreams. Maybe we just need to look at what is in our sphere of control and influence right now. Doesn't mean that we have to let go of what we aspire for. Maybe it just needs some scaling, some adjustments.
Oh, I love that. So again, the 5 Ps are perspective, presence, purpose, participate, and possibility. Before we wrap up this video, everyone will have their different pace in which ma-achieve nila itong 5 Ps na to.
Yeah. I think respect is very important. We're so different from each other. There's no one size fits all in coping and thriving. There's this research about couples who endure traumatic experiences together. What helps couples stay together is we have a sense of respect for each other's different ways of managing the traumatic experience. They're more likely to stay together if they're respectful of each other's processes. So I think that it works the same way for our situation now, that we have to give each other the respect to process all of these things in our own way, supporting each other through that, and showing up and being there.
Any final words or advice to everyone moving into the new normal?
Bianca, I wanted to share that quote. Mark Nepo is a spiritual writer, and I've been reading his book, More Together Than Alone. And he said, what crushes us might feel cruel and unjust, but what it opens within us matters more. What I like about it is it's not denying the fact that we're going through something really difficult and challenging. But we have to honor the pain that comes with this situation for all of us. There's a way we could embrace or deal with that pain that opens our hearts and minds and opens our relationships in a way that really makes us better people, that makes us transform our lives for the better and evolve for the better. So,
I love that. Oh, I love all your advice. Thank you so much, Doc Joanna. I'm sure all your advice helped the very person watching this. Thank you, Doc.
Thanks, Bianca.
And to everyone, thank you for watching. Bye.
you.